We are here to govern, not to bury. That was President Tinubu's chat today in Makurdi, a state capital that has become far too familiar with the sounds of mourning. In a town hall meeting with stakeholders, the president vowed to convert Benue's long-running insecurity into economic prosperity. He promised arrests, intelligence reforms, and the creation of a peace committee that will include non-indigenous and traditional rulers.
We cannot do without one another. Whatever we need to do, I will want us to create this leadership committee now, and then we meet in Abuja to really fashion out the nucleus of a lasting peace. And I'm ready to invest in that peace. And among the traditional rulers, Totif and Ochidoma and others, to be included in this peace committee. I give you the assurance that we will find peace. We will convert this tragedy to prosperity. Again and again, police, I hope your men are on alert to listen to information. How come no arrest has been made?
Earlier in the day, the president visited victims of the Yawata massacre at the Benue State University Teaching Hospital just hours before calling for a voluntary blood donation campaign to aid the wounded. But the most sobering voice came from the traditional ruler of the Tiv Nation, His Royal Majesty James Ayase, who declared, "We are dealing with full-scale attacks from bandits," saying to Mr. President, "Give us peace in Benue State." Governor Hyacinth Alia also echoed that desperation, urging the federal government to create a special fund for victims and pushing again for the establishment of state police, which he called the most sustainable solution to the crisis. Tonight on Beyond the Headlines, we ask the question, is real action finally on the horizon, or is Benue once again trapped in a cycle of promises and pain? Our correspondent Godwin Agwam was at the town hall. He joins me first. Later, I'll speak to retired Major General Chris Olukolade, former military spokesman, on what real security reform should now look like. Let's begin with Godwin. Paint for us the picture today. What was the mood like in that room when President Tinubu walked in? Was this just another political speech, or did he strike a different tone?
Okay, good evening. I would say the visit of the president came with the people of the Benue State nostalgia. One, because of course this is the first time a sitting president will be visiting them since this carnage began in the state. So they felt like that they are being loved. They are loved by the federal government, for the president, the sitting president, to visit them at this time moment for them. And secondly, of course, they are mourning the loss of their loved ones who died in Yelwata. Well, the president was there, and of course, he cheered them up, and he made them understand that he is sharing their grief because the number of persons who died are not people, it's not a number or a figure that the sitting president would want to happen to some people. Of course, he called on them to work in unity, because he feels that it's only when there is disunity that some assailants or criminals will be able to have their way in the state. The president also asked the governor to set up a committee of non-indigenous. I believe that the president is trying to seek perhaps a neutral insight to this crisis. That's why I'm calling for a committee of non-indigenous. Of course, perhaps security experts, elders of the state, the traditional ruler of the Totif and the Ochidoma, and so on and so forth. They want to have an independent insight of what's happening in the state. He also asked the Inspector General of Police to ensure that he makes arrests of the persons who have been causing this trouble in Benue State. He said that he wants to get that kind of information every moment as soon as possible. So I think the IGP was there, and of course he's going to perhaps see what he will do about that.
Quick one, Godwin. You've spoken to some locals and stakeholders. How are residents interpreting this visit, especially with the fact that Mr. President couldn't visit Yelwata because of the rain and flooding?
Well, of course, coming with mixed feelings, they would want the president. But when we spoke with them, they would have loved the president to visit Yelwata, see for himself, test the devastation in Yelwata. But the president appealed to them and apologized. He told them, of course, there was a hazard downpour this morning in Benue State, and of course, across the North Central area. In fact, it led to some floods across along the Benue-Lafia road. So the president appealed to them and apologized to them. I told them the reason why he could not visit Yelwata is because of the heavy downpour, and of course, there's a lot of flooding along that road now at the moment. So they are happy that he's there. And even though he is not able to go to that place, his presence alone is bringing some level of relief to them.
All right. Godwin live for us in Makode. Thank you for the updates there. Let's now bring in retired Major General Chris Olukolade, who's former spokesman of the Defense Headquarters and a respected voice on national security. General Olukolade, thank you for joining us. This crisis, as you know, has festered for over a decade. From your vantage point, there are conversations as to what the root causes are, especially with this latest attack. General Olukolade, I'm asking what you consider the root causes based on your vantage position. Why do you think, what exactly continues to fuel this violence in Benue despite multiple interventions?
Well, thank you for this privilege to make a statement on this issue. And besides, our center, the Center for Crisis Communication, made a statement on this earlier. But in response to your question, I think, and going straight to the point without mincing words, on the part of the security, perhaps the major thing fueling this is maybe lack of very decisive political will to empower the security agencies to go in and flush in these characters. And they've stayed too long in that area. But I think the president's statement today gives the right response that the security agencies have been waiting for. I expect that this visit will trigger the required and necessary attention to deal with this issue in a more decisive way. In short, what I'm saying, in case you didn't get me, is that the issue has been fueled by lack of appropriate, evident political will, giving the military the mandate to take very decisive action, both in terms of operational response to the nuisance that is in that area, and some unnecessary politicization, ranging from the terminologies to describe what is going on. If I'm to respond to that, I will say the trouble in Benue, the problem in Benue is
the battery is low.
Headers, farmers clashes. Let's call it by something or another thing. There's evident political willpower and directive to the security agencies. I think we are set to respond properly.
Mr. President has also called for the formation of a peace resolution committee, including non-indigenous and traditional leaders. What exactly would you expect such a committee to look like structurally, and what can make it effective where others failed?
I think that is more solution to this matter, and it will only possibly address the less of the present security situation. I it may be too drastic on my part, but I consider the problem as more due to the activities of invaders. And there's no way the activities can be justified in that area. So any peace resolution committee will just be a political discussion of parties involved and not direct, response to this degree of bestiality that we see in that place, whereby some roving terrorists all over the place are becoming a problem to everybody. While the politicians are discussing that aspect, which I may call the non-kinetic, it is the business of the security agencies to go there and just bloody flush out these characters that are nothing but invaders that want to take over the property of the people of Benue State. And I listened to the remarks of the Torsiv. It narrates the sentiments that is very crucial to resolving this matter. There's no way. I've been privileged to go around some of the IDPs in that state. I think it's unfortunate to make people IDPs in their own, in their own country. All of these are the real security issues that should be addressed. And if people are bent on denying them their peace in their own area, I don't see what discussions will do about that. But while the politicians are discussing, the security agencies should just be in the field and resolve this matter as quickly as possible. Thank God the president has given them the mandate, the marching orders. Honestly, I expect immediate response that will prove a point and let these invaders know that you can't occupy any part of this country and be remaining a nuisance. It cannot be justified in whatever form. I think we've played around with words for too long on this matter.
And it's important the point you have made, because from Agatu to Yawata, the scale and pattern of these killings are consistent, targeted and recurrent. Some locals are now calling this genocide or ethnic cleansing. At what point, General, should the Nigerian government officially label it an act of domestic terrorism?
I don't know why some people are always reluctant to describe these issues in the right language. What we are facing in Benue is just terrorist activities. And, at the beginning, even with Boko Haram, some people were justifying it and they were reluctant to give it the toga of being called terrorists. These guys roaming around in Benue and killing are nothing but terrorists. We should see them as such, deal with them as such, and let the international community realize them in that image. And there is no need to, pamper them with some political description. Let's consider anybody giving otherwise as simply sympathizers of these marauders. And I don't think it's fair to the people of that area to, downplay the degree of genocide. I'm tending to agree with that term. And I think the earlier we get that understanding, the more we will know that this is not to be condoned, this is not to be politicized, but have to be dealt with swiftly as a nation. And I am beginning to believe that the right action is about to commence. With even the observation of Mr. President, and that's a very good question. How come that there is no arrest so far? And they are expecting us to just pay condolence visit and end the matter. I think it should be ended in a more swift security operation that everybody will know about in the area very soon.
There is no doubt a growing sense of helplessness, even among elected officials. What do you say to people who believe government is either overwhelmed or complicit in this matter?
Overwhelmed to some extent, but it shouldn't be to the degree of leaving the people to themselves. People who say they are complicit, maybe drawing from previous experience. When I saw the president's visit today, I thank God for the right description it is being given. It is encouraging. At least it's a departure from the tendency where the message from the presidency will just encourage them to reconcile with terrorists, or just encourage them and say, I'm not aware. The president is not saying, I'm not aware this time. He is really, really aware. It's those kind of language that people allege complicity. Now, the whole nation is aware after seeing this degree of carnage. And like I keep saying, I think what we should do is deal with this matter decisively once and for all. If terrorists have invaded our country, they should be dealt with, cornered, and neutralized without missing words. Insecurity is the same anywhere, whether it is in northeast or north central, wherever. The people of, why is the tendencies continuing in Benue, in Plateau, and it appears that the terrorists think that they are to be treated with kid gloves. Let the whole nation know that this is terrorism, and whoever is behind it is a terrorist, no matter his political coloration.
Before we go, Major General,
the former governor
yes,
appeared to be a lone voice
on this matter, and he also cried. We heard his voice was quite loud, in the past years. But the president today told intelligence agencies that it's time to collect tangible intelligence to forestall attacks. Does this in any way suggest a failure on the part of our security intelligence so far?
I've said something and I want to repeat it. I would like to emphasize it even. I think the issue in this matter is more of political will to give decisive directive to the concerned agencies. With this now, with the statement of Mr. President today, definitely the people in the field, the military, the police, and the intelligence agencies must have got the message very clearly. And I am reluctant to endorse the feeling that there was intelligence failure. The activities of these people over time is enough for us to build sufficient intelligence on the trend and to deal with it decisively. It is not unlikely that the people who should deal with it were just reading the body language of the leadership. Now that they got the message very clear, that they have a mandate to deal with criminals, I think there will be a change.
We're all looking forward to it. I'm sure that the people of Benue are also counting on the fact that this wouldn't be just another political visit, but that indeed all the stakeholders will match words with action. The killings must stop. It's one killing too many in a state, in the state of Benue. Good place to leave it. Retired Major General Chris Olukolade is former spokesperson of the Defense Headquarters, is also now chairman of the Center for Crisis Communication. Thank you so much for finding time to talk to us on the show this evening.
Thank you. Good evening.